Hello again, Group 5 of Communication 320. This is your fellow classmate, Bill Perkins, doing my Module 2 discussion about Chapter 9. Once again, we are asked about workplace and professional communication and its importance. We need professional communication to convey the work of business in such a way that it is easily understood by the audience it is intended for. From my past experience, I can tell you that written communication is very important. The first one we all deal with is the work application, resume, and cover letter. I used to get a stack of 20 or 30 applications for a job, and one of the first things I looked at was how neat and tidy it was. If you have bad handwriting, I really suggest you practice your print block writing or use the computer or typewriter if possible. When looking at resumes and cover letters, the style of the paper, the font used, the colors used, the layout, all gave an impression and was used to decide if I was actually going to read it. Chapter 9 gives some very good examples of many of the types of written communication in business. Business letters, employee reviews, recommendation letters, thank you letters, memos, proposals, and reports. Once you get into an administrative position, you will find yourself writing many of these on a daily basis. And if you own your own business, they will become extremely important to you. In all cases, you need to be mindful of who your audience is and the structure, clarity, and presentation of your message. Ask yourself some questions before you begin to organize the information you want to share. What's the purpose of the communication? Is the information new? Are you clarifying the information? Are you requesting or are you persuading? Finally, what is the key message you want your audience to take away from the memo, report, letter, etc.? The authors, Quintanilla and Wall, talk about using outlines in order to prepare the message you want to convey, to help you structure the message. I think this is a very key point. Taking the time to outline what you want to present helps to keep it focused and precise. It also helps you organize your information in a way that flows better and brings everything together. The authors relate a key point. Poor organization will lead to ineffective communication. It's very true. I think the only drawback to outlining is when presenting a speech before a group of people. The outline helps keep your information together, but afterwards you need to go back over it and find ways to integrate yourself into the speech. Adding a little humor or personal anecdotes always helps a speech keep the audience's attention. When writing something professionally, we have to be careful about how the audience is interpreting that information. There are two parts to every communication, and those are explicit and implicit parts. The explicit is the information that is clearly stated with no chance for confusion. Contracts are an example of a form of written communication that must be explicit in the information they provide. If it's not written within the boundaries of the contract, within the edges of the paper, it doesn't exist. And we can thank Judge Judy for that idea. Implicit means something that is implied, though it is not directly stated. It is an idea or thought someone gets from reading your communication that is not actually written, but could be argued that you intended it. By using specific language rather than general language, you could be more explicit in the message or information. Specific language makes precise references. For example, telling your child to clean their room after school is general language, whereas telling them to clean their room immediately after school when they first get home before any other activities is specific language. Another thing that is implicit in written communication is the tone. The book uses an example of someone writing a memo and how she wanted to present an image of someone being fun, wanting her team to have a positive attitude in the workplace, but it comes across as stern and disciplinarian. This is because most professional writing has an implied tone of being direct, to the point, and either unemotional or stern. However, keep in mind that many things affect the implied tone of written communication. The choice of words and your attitude is implied by the choice of the words you use. When I got my first job supervising others, I didn't want to be perceived as bossy or stringent, so I tried to keep a light conversational tone when writing directives and manuals for the staff. It didn't work. The information was perceived as not being highly important because of the tone and my choice of words. So keep tone in mind when you are writing. In the future, I'm hoping to start a career in network administration. Two types of communication that are common in this field are network documentation, which is made up of systems and devices that are in use, mapping the network both physically and logically, creating emergency plans, lots and lots of reports and detailed information. Some of those reports are about when the server's busiest, when the department is using what resources, who has access to what, so forth. In that chosen career of being a network administrator, the types of written communication that's most often done is technical. The chapter mentions quantitative data, which is characterized by numbers, percentages, statistics, and surveys that is used mostly in reports. This and planning documents will be the bulk of the written communication I will be doing. Planning documents will be used for emergency planning about how to bring a system back up after a failure due to either internal or external issues, such as fire or loss of resources like electricity. The examples in the chapter of a process directive, memo, proposal for services, and focus group report are the closest to the type of written communication I will be doing. However, it's going to be much more technical driven and mostly meant for others in my same department or with the same training and understanding. Technical writing means that information has to be presented with great clarity, using specific language, and the presentation has to be of a high level with correct grammar and punctuation. In the end, I still think the best part of Chapter 9 is those basic questions you should ask before you begin to organize your information and the message. What is the purpose of the communication? Is the information new? Are you clarifying the information? Are you requesting or are you persuading? And finally, what is the key message you want your audience to take away from your message in the memo, report, letter, etc.? Thank you for your time and attention, and have a great day, everyone.